Hello, hello, hello. Can everyone hear me? Okay. So I'm gonna be waiting for kind of connected 10 minutes before so I can see how everything is doing. So this is the first time I'm doing this. Apologize everyone if I made mistakes everywhere. So we're gonna try this out. So my name is Eric Usida. I'm one of the co-founders of the Korean Car Blog. We are a team of four editors. My other partner is Jose. You're welcome. My other partner is Jose Antonio Lopez. He lives in Spain. So, as you might already know, we try to bring you all the latest information that we can get for the Korean brands, such as Hyundai, Kia, and Genesis Motor now. So today, since we're living in the very, very hard times that most people still cannot get out and live their normal lives, we decided to do this live stream with one of our friends, old friends, Mark Wilkins, which you guys will be able to meet and get to know him. I will try to read some of the questions on the live stream. It might be really hard, but I will try to type it on the computer, and that way it doesn't fly too fast. But let's gonna wait another 7 more minutes so Mark can connect. Again, we're gonna try and see how everything works. I haven't tried this before, and the same Mark was telling me that he's also new to this, so we're gonna give it a few more minutes once we connect everything. Mark Wilkins, he is just to let you know right now, he's a driver, a pro race driver. And again, we'll get to know him in a few more minutes, but he's currently driving the Hyundai Veloster and Performance. So I have a set of question 24 questions for him, and I already picked up a couple questions for that people were asking through the Instagram stories. My thoughts about the i20N. It's gonna be a good car. The only thing is how many people are gonna be able to get it. But we'll talk. We're planning to do this a little bit more, gathering different topics. Eventually, we're gonna try to. I don't want to call it podcast because it's not gonna be that often. But we're gonna start doing some videos. That way, you guys can get to know us as well, and all the team, which I mentioned. Well, Jose is the other member, co-founder actually, and we have another 3 more actually. Henry Lee, which he lives in Portland, Oregon. No, I'm sorry, Washington State. And then we have Eli he is in Portland. And then we have Rooney. So Kevin Rooney, he lives in Los Angeles. So all of us 5, we kind of try to work here and there to bring you more information. But yeah, So we have 4 more minutes, and I'm gonna try sit here. So Mark is here now, Mark Wilkins. So let me try and see if we can start building up the live stream. There you are.
Hey, how are you?
Hey, Mark. Good. How are you?
Good, good. How's everything?
Doing good. Here it's about 6 p.m. in Dallas. So, well, almost 6, but doing good. How about yourself?
Yeah. It's a nice sunny evening and a little bit warmer today, but it's been cold. We're supposed to get snow on the weekend, if you can believe that.
Oh, wow. Snow. Okay. That's weird. I mean, we got here in Dallas, it's really sunny. We had big thunderstorms a couple of days ago, but it's really sunny today. So we kind of actually get a time to go outside with the kids and the wife so they can, get some sun because, it's really needed now.
Yeah, good. No, we were out doing some work around the property on Sunday, and it was nice and warm, and got a big sunburn. And then the next day it was winter coat again. It's just spring up here is a funny season.
Wow. Feels like you're racing now over there because with all the sunburn you have.
Yeah, exactly. You got to get used to it again. It's I think we had our first snow in October, so it just seemingly never ends.
All right, so I think we can probably get this started. It's almost 2 minutes, but I think we can. It seems like the audio is working properly. Let me see. I can read all the comments. Greetings for Uruguay, South America. I have a Hyundai 30 and very large Hyundai brand community here. All right. Hyundai UI. All right. So let's start with the questions.
Sure.
So tell us your name and what do you do for a living?
Sure. So I'm Mark Wilkins, and I'm one of 6 Brian Herta Autosport Hyundai factory drivers in North America.
That's good.
Driving the Veloster and TCR.
All right. Now, like we mentioned before, we're living in a quarantine. We're just very hard times with this coronavirus. Can you tell me how you're doing, how your family doing, health-wise, and
Yeah, absolutely. We're doing very well. The family's been great. I think the last time I traveled was the end of February for a Hyundai fitness camp, and then everything kind of snowballed, a few weeks after that. But I was home, and basically everything, as you said, everything's kind of gone on hold. It's been quiet, and we've just been doing what they've asked, which is to stay home and try to avoid going out too much. We have a little bit of property in the country, so we're able to go outside and with the dogs and wander around, and so we're very fortunate in that way that we're not too cooped up, but we're trying to stick to our property and just ride it out.
That's good. Sorry, that's the clock. That's good. I mean, I think that's one of the best ways to cope with this quarantine, being able to. I mean, you're still in the home, but, at the same time, you can go outside and breathe some air, pure air, and at the same time, you're not next to a lot of people as well. That's a good thing.
Right.
So now with this quarantine, I'm pretty sure a lot of us, yourself included, probably you might be able to gather some new skills that you were able to learn or relearn. Can you tell us any of those, if you have any, of course?
Well, I mean, I guess I've done some woodworking, building sort of garden boxes and the like for my wife, sand boxes for the little guy, just general things around the house. Definitely a lot on the sim. I've had a sim for a while with iRacing and some other sort of more game type consoles, but I never used them that much. I would learn a track, or I would use it as a tool before going to a race just to brush up, but I never really did it competitively. And is it ever competitive? I did the Super Sebring race in March, and it didn't go very well. And I think I realized that my equipment is not up to snuff with what these pro sim guys are using. And so I had to take my computer apart, so I learned how to do that. I had to put a new graphics card in.
Wow.
I had to get new monitors because the refresh rate was too slow. I'm going through all the list of excuses here, but in the end, just tackling a lot of things at the house that I probably wouldn't have, to be honest. Doing a lot of training, just getting workout apps, trying to do everything at the house. So new skills, some things I hadn't done in a long time, and some new stuff as well. But it's been good. It's been nice to be around family, and everyone is well. So it's kind of explaining to our 4-year-old what's going on, why he can't go and play with his friends. And we have a 7-month-old. It turned 7 months today, actually, and he is keeping us on our toes. So it's been exciting. I mean, we're home a lot, but the days are going by fast, I tell you.
Yeah, I feel you, right? Because as I mentioned to you, I have also a daughter. She's 5, and she also is going through the same thing. Sort of trying to explain to her that she cannot go outside or play with her friends outside, and also have a new daughter. She's only 2 weeks old.
Congratulations! Awesome.
Thank you. So it's been busy.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it keeps you on your toes, and as you know, with the older one, it just gets more and more fun as you go along. So
yeah. Definitely. So definitely, that's a skill that you have to relearn again, changing diapers, because that's another thing you have to learn.
Absolutely.
So now, obviously, we're at home. Most of us are at home. In 24 hours, it's a lot of hours for a day. Can you tell us what you do usually during that time?
Sure. So we're up bright and earlier than we need to be. Normally, either the 7-month-old wakes us up, before or after 4 in the morning. May or may not go back to sleep for an hour or so. And if not that, and he's good, then our older one, Levi, is up around 6 or 6:30. So we always get the coffee machine fired up first thing. We're always looking forward to that. And we just kind of settle into a pretty relaxed sort of morning, just kind of getting the boys ready. And, my wife and I are doing quite a bit of training every day. She's doing a little bit of a different program than me, but we're kind of tossing the baby back and forth so that we can get our workout in. And like I said, we just, there's quite a bit of things to do with the kids around here, and with work around the house, and, sim time every day, or, maybe every couple days maximum on there. So I'll try to go on there with Mason, Michael, Harry, and the guys, and whether it's an IndyCar or we're on iRacing or whatever, or we're in Forza Motorsport with the Veloster doing some testing and practice online for our sort of weekly Brian Hurt Autosport Forza Motorsport competition. So there's a lot going on, and I think the kids really make the days fly by, to be honest. You think where you have all this time all of a sudden, and then but the days click by, and it's, you just don't know where they go. It's crazy.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, usually with the kids, I think they make you busy, no matter, even if you don't want to do anything, they'll just make you busy no matter what.
Yeah, and we also have 3 dogs, so they keep us. So if they always need something, so everyone always needs something. So we just chase that around a bit, and when we have a gap, we slot into something we want to try to do.
It's unbelievable, how now that we're at home, we have so much time to spend, and now we're seeing all the things that we have to do all of a sudden, and it kind of helps us out as well. But I mean, it's tough times, but at the same time, it's kind of refreshing at the same time, right?
Absolutely. You kind of wonder how you managed to get all the other things done that we were doing before, in a lot of ways, but then you realize that how much you put on hold, right? And so we get all this nice family time that we get to spend. There's so many positives to a very challenging situation, and that would be certainly one massive one, which which is just a ton of family time and time to kind of settle back in and do some things that maybe were on the back burner for a while.
Correct. Yes. Now, let's keep talking about this, about you. Do you have any, now that we have a lot of time, or well, maybe a little bit of more time, but do you like any? Do you have any streaming services that you like or your preference to watch movies?
To be honest, it's been a lot of kids shows. So there's a common theme here, but there's a lot of streaming going on. I can tell you, but it's a lot of dinosaurs, like dinosaur shows. We actually went into the world of Jurassic Park, which may be a bit extreme for Levi, but he loved it. He's just absolutely obsessed with dinosaurs. So Land Before Time, all the kids shows. It's I think we kind of figure that for our own time, it's about an hour in the evening where we just sit down and turn the TV on, and it's okay. How do we feel? Do we want to jump into a show? And we did. We finished Homeland actually not too long ago, and it was pretty good. And then otherwise, it's just the news. It's not super exciting, but. I need to sort of revisit some of the old favorites, like Days of Thunder has to be my favorite racing movie for sure. And then, we're kind of living Groundhog Day, it feels like. So I always liked that movie. I don't know why that popped in my head, but I guess it's kind of our life a little bit these days. So, but yeah, that's been it. It's been full of managing. Because I mentioned we live rurally, so we don't have unlimited data. So we're managing how we kind of use our data a little bit. In between the sim and streaming and all that, you go through it so quick. It's unbelievable. But
right. Yeah. Yeah, man. I mean, right now, I think with the whole TV series that are popping up, and of course with this whole quarantine, companies are trying to put their movies actually on streaming, because obviously no one can go to the movie theaters. But yeah, it's kind of interesting how you could go back to those shows that you loved before. I mean, I like seeing a lot of shows. Friends, for example, that's one of my favorites. But I have to go back again and watch it over. There's so many episodes, but you love it at the end of it. But all right, so can you tell us now? Let's go back into the racing, because some people might kind of like that as well. So last year, you and Michael Lewis, which, by the way, congratulations, won the 2019 IMSA Michelin Pilot TCR class with a Veloster N. Can you tell us how that felt when you were at the last, when you were finishing the getting to the line and then holding the trophy?
Absolutely. Michael Lewis has just been an awesome teammate the last couple of years. We raced against each other in 2018, but we really raced together. And that was the first year we sort of developed, the I-30N TCR in World Challenge. We had a great year, won the Manufacturers Championship, won a lot of races, and we just had so much fun. And so Brian Herta said, well, we should put you and Michael together in a car, which was just sort of a dream year. I mean, Michael's just such a great guy, super talented, easy to work with. We like the car the same, which goes a long way as well. And our season started off a little bit rocky. We didn't really finish the first race at Daytona. Sebring, we had a penalty in the pit lane. And then we started to kind of get our groove on in May at Mid-Ohio with our first win. And Michael did it in dramatic fashion in some pretty wild conditions, kind of running with one of the Audis, nose to tail and door to door the last few laps. And it's a win that I'll remember for a long time, because it wasn't an easy one. It was such a tricky race. And then that momentum really carried throughout the year. Mason, Harry, kept us on our toes. They did a great job last year. They won their big race at Road America, which was also an incredibly challenging event. And so they were nipping at our heels all year. As were the Honda guys. I mean, there was some great competition, and ultimately it really came down to the last race at Road Atlanta. That's my favorite track. It's awesome. And I got in to finish, and I remember Brian kind of looking at me and said, no pressure, but you have to win. And I kind of laughed. It was like, yeah, okay, I'm feeling pretty good. We had just had, Breen was born only a few days before, so I figured we survived the turmoil of that stress. And so we got to the last race, and Michael put in a great drive, and I just had to bring it home. And I remember the guys saying, with not like a handful of laps left, they said, okay, you captured the championship. And that was sort of a first for me, and a great feeling. But I remember in my helmet just thinking, we have to win this race. And we had an Audi all over me the whole run, and pushing me, and we kind of drove away. And so it was awesome to win it. It was awesome to win that championship, and it was a really good, tough race to finish what was a pretty challenging season overall.
I see. Yeah, I mean, definitely, I remember at the beginning when you guys were having a little bit difficulties, but then after that, it just went up. And I mean, I'm glad you guys were able to get, I think that the 2018, you guys won the manufacturing, right, with the R30N?
Yes.
And now this year, obviously, you guys got the pilot this year class. So congratulations again for that.
Thank you.
It's amazing how you guys being able to progress from the I-30. Obviously, we don't have the I-30 here in America, but now you got the Veloster N, which was released the year before. I mean, 2019.
19. Yeah.
And now obviously you'll be able to put that car into the track, and it's amazing how many people actually love it too as well. I mean, the Veloster N is one of the cars that a lot of people were waiting for, and now that we have it here in the States, and you guys actually be able to win this class, it's amazing for a lot of us, which is a car enthusiasts, and of course the Hyundai enthusiasts as well.
Absolutely.
Now, you were mentioning about Marco Lewis. You've been racing with him for in 2018 as well. Can you tell us the partnership that you guys were able to build up since 2018 with the I-30N, and some of the skills that you guys had to put together for this 2019 that obviously made a success with winning the pilot TCR class?
Sure. I mean, Brian Hurd Autosport, Brian put together just an awesome group of people when the program started. Michael, I didn't really know Michael before the first event, and it was, with race drivers, it's always interesting. Everyone's a bit different, but with Michael, it was he's such an easy partner to work with, and he just was so fast, and we could really just piggyback off each other. And we, right from day one, we kind of said to each other, this is about Hyundai. This is about showcasing Hyundai's end product. And so whether Michael was on the top step or I was on the top step, as long as it was a Hyundai, we were doing our job well. And so we really established that early on in the year, and we raced each other, but we always were racing with the goal of trying to capture that manufacturer's championship and just have a Hyundai at the top. So, we went back and forth a bunch throughout the year on wins, and we had some tough races as well, with a couple little issues that we ironed out mid-season. But then when we transitioned to Pilot Challenge and we had the opportunity to race together, it was a seamless fit. Like, it was just a partnership that, now we were actually racing for the same thing in the same car with the same motivation of trying to win another manufacturer's championship, which we didn't. We missed by 1 point. And that sort of set the fire for us this year to go back and accomplish that big goal. And that was our big goal last year. And we accomplished a lot of goals, but we left that one on the table. And Michael and I were adamant that when we came back in 2020, we would be pushing hard to try to achieve that.
That's good. Yeah, I mean, definitely I feel like this 2018 it was kind of a little bit more exciting. A lot of people were, obviously, since you guys were racing in 2018, a lot of people were noticing now the 100 brand. It's up there. So in 2019, there was a lot of people who were telling us about how you guys were doing, and how you were really winning the races, and even a lot of people told us, they were really enthusiastic about you guys winning the TCR class, and it's a very step forward for a lot of us as well, because this helped us a lot as well, because the putting the end performance brand out there, obviously it's gonna not only it's success for you guys, but at the same time it's for the brand, because obviously a lot of people are going to be able to notice it, and the sales are going to go up as well. So it's really interesting that, and I'm glad you guys were able to take that trophy home as well. Yeah, so sorry, I'm reading the laptop. That's why I'm looking down over here. But
no problem.
So all right. So let's talk about 2019. What was the most challenging course? Can you tell us, can you leave that story? Tell us what happened last year's season with the Veloster.
Sure. Yeah. So Daytona was the toughest for sure. Not just because we had, a tough race overall, but Daytona is just a little tough for the car. It's all about straight line speed, and the Veloster N is the corner rascal. It's the best handling car in the class.
Yes.
And Daytona is not a lot about handling. It's a lot about speed on the banking. So that was, I think, our toughest track. And I think in, our first race this year at Daytona was tough again. It just, some of the other cars just have more straight line speed. And that's sort of a more or less a series, balance of performance thing. But we know once we leave Daytona that when we start to get to Sebring and that the other tracks, are majority of them are handling tracks. And that's where we really excel. So we felt really good actually after Daytona this year. 4, 5, 6. We wanted to be 1, 2, 3. But we uncovered a couple little issues, and it's a tough place for us. So we were excited to get to Sebring, which of course we haven't done, and that's now the last race of our season. Yeah. And then of course we were actually supposed to be at Mid-Ohio. I think this past weekend. So we're another great track for us, obviously, based on last year's performance. So we're excited about the year that really hasn't really begun yet, and showcasing even more performance than we did last year with this Veloster and TCR.
Let's see. Now this year, obviously, you guys are changing a little bit the dynamic. Now you have as a driver, as your partner, Harry Gottecker.
Yep.
So can you tell us what are the strategies that you guys are putting together? Obviously, you only race at Daytona, and all this COVID-19 happened. But what are the things that you have kind of like put together so you can get the trophy? I mean win the trophy and take this 2020 race.
Sure. Well, yeah. I mean, so Harry obviously did an awesome job with Mason last year, and so we all got to know each other really well. And we always said last year we were a team of 4 drivers with the same goal. So when Brian mixed up the driver order for 2020, it was really a seamless transition. Because we all knew each other. So it was a little bit of a different seating position. There's always little compromises in terms of how you fit in the car. And so we ironed those out at the test in Daytona in January really quickly. And I'm really excited. I mean, Harry had a great drive at Daytona. He qualified on the front row. He ran a really strong race, as he did last year at all the tracks. So I'm really excited to just develop that partnership with him. And as you said, everything being put on hold is, that there's months going by with no activity. So we haven't been able to further develop that relationship together in the same car yet. But because we have a year of experience working with each other, from last year, it's so easy. It's so good. So when we get back on track, we'll just slot right in. We'll get to work, and Harry's and my goal are the same. I mean, we want to win. Right. We're pushing hard for a championship, as I know we all are. And obviously, first and foremost priority is that manufacturer's championship for Hyundai. So, we'll be supporting the other cars as they would support us, and it's an exciting environment to be in with the guys. I mean, we have a great time. We work so well together, and it just makes it fun. And I think when things are fun, they just click, and that's what happened last year. And so I anticipate that will just continue to be the team dynamic that we have at Brian Herd Autosport, and it's a good one for being successful, I think.
That's good. I'm glad. And definitely, again, we're looking forward to this new season. I believe you added 2 more drivers, right? Gavi Chavez.
Gavi and Ryan.
And
Ryan Norman. Yeah.
So hopefully now you have three Hyundais on the race. So hopefully for this season you guys are going to do well. And like you said, hopefully this year you'll be able to get the manufacturing the class. Now let's switch it to one of those questions that we have people ask during the Instagram. This one comes from the Veloster and Fun Club. Are you able to read it?
Yes. Have you had a chance to drive the Hyundai test vehicle RM19? I have not, but Mason has. Mason drove it a few months ago, and he raved about it. So naturally, I was very jealous because we all wanted to drive it, and I saw a little bit of a clip of video from inside it, and it looks like a riot. It's big power, that mid-engine layout. There's a lot of really cool, exciting things, in the works. And Mason had a chance to kind of feel a little bit of that sort of development and fun. I believe it was at Proving Grounds.
Correct. It was at Proving Grounds.
So save that one for Mason, because he can give you the live read on that one.
Which reminds us, Friday we're doing the live stream with Mason. So guys, whoever watching right now, make sure to stay tuned as well for that one. Let's see. Let's pick another one. It might not show up in there, but I'll read it for you. Now we're talking about Mason. He has a question for you. He is asking, do you remember the blinker at the Glen?
Yes, I do.
Can you tell us that?
I'll tell you, that's a great story, and I'm glad Mason brought that up. I'm going to have a chat with him after. No, I'm just kidding. Mason was in the Honda in 2018. It was at the Glen. And he thought that the turn signals could just stay on. I thought, he was looking for the 4-ways, and, he only found the turn signals. But, he was running in front of me for a while in that race. And he left his left turn signal on, and it drove me crazy. And after he switched from Honda over to Hyundai, which was a great move, we just joke about that constantly. It really was funny and really frustrating when you're driving at pace and you're going around the corner and he's doing a fast right and he's got the left blinker going on. It just, I don't know. It seemed like, pretty, road, kind of what you'd expect maybe on the road sometimes,
right.
Following the wrong guy in the left-hand lane with the left blinker on or something. But anyway, I'm glad he brought that up. That's something we joke about to this day.
I'm glad. And then let's pick one more. This is for Samsung Drawings. What is your favorite car out of the Hyundai fleet of vehicles, excluding the Veloster N?
That's an easy one. Well, actually, it's not an easy one because there's so many great Hyundais. I have a Palisade that I just got about a month ago, and I've barely driven it because there's nowhere to go. But I love it, and it's an awesome vehicle. It's just when it came out, I couldn't believe with the design and the feel and the look and how it drove. I mean, I think Hyundai USA had one at our Laguna race last year, and I drove it, and I was sold right away. It's just so smooth, quiet, so upscale, user friendly, and just a real joy. It's just really well put together. So I would say the Palisade is there, but I also really like the Kona, to be honest. I like the Konas. There's so many cool variants of that car, including the EV, which I think is kind of a pretty neat vehicle. And the Nexo, super cool. I've seen that. I've never had a chance to be in it, but I think it's a great looking vehicle. So I think, there's just so many great Hyundais with great design. The new Elantra that just launched is pretty bold design, and I just love it. I think you really can't go wrong in their lineup, but Palisade is at the top, I think, for me. And since Veloster N's not included, because I think Hyundai actually posted something on Twitter that was pretty funny. It was which garage what would you have in your garage, your quarantine garage, and garage 4 was 4 Veloster N's. And I was like, well, that's an easy one. You could keep circling that one over and over again. One for the track, one for the road. Maybe I don't know. Just have a couple in reserve there, but. It's very exciting. All of the fantastic Hyundai product that's out there and coming as well. So it's exciting times.
Yeah, definitely looking forward for the that Elantra N line.
Yes.
That Michael actually he was able to drive that one, right?
He did. So Michael. Yeah, I spoke to Michael about that this morning, actually, and I said, what can I tell people about the Elantra N line, since you're the lucky guy that got to drive it? He said, handling. He said the turn-in is great, the grip is great in the front end, and you can put your foot down, and it's got excellent traction coming off the corner. So he raved about handling. I said, what about the gearbox? It's got the one of the new DCT gearboxes, and he's like, the handling, the gearbox is great, but I really, really like the handling. So I think we can all be excited about, Elantra N-Line and Sonata N-Line, and of course, future N product that I think everyone will be excited about, moving forward.
Mm-hmm. All right. So, let's keep working. We have a few more questions from the followers, but let's go back to our regular questions. So, all right. Let's talk about the IMSA announcements postponing, canceling all the events, some of the events for this 2020. Can you give us an update? What's the 2020 season looking now?
Sure, I can. We had a call with IMSA last week, and IMSA has been fantastic about keeping everyone in the loop. Obviously, there's a lot of uncertainty with everything right now. So, we missed Sebring, which was moved to mid-November. Mid-Ohio was also moved. So actually, we haven't lost any races yet. They've just been shuffled in the season. And so the races we were supposed to have just run will now run in the fall. So our next race is Watkins Glen. And I think, IMSA's schedule is very summer-fall focused. So we actually didn't have to move much to kind of keep things rolling. So end of June, Watkins Glen is currently still a go with the expectation that could change, obviously. Last weekend of June, and then we're supposed to go straight into the Canadian Tire Motorsport Park race, which is the next weekend, and then Lime Rock. So July is a very busy month. But I think, with everything that's going on, I think we're starting to see things maybe looking a bit more positive. And so we're all staying really positive and waiting for IMSA's next announcement, which is, I believe, on the 18th of the month. So they're keeping us in the loop every couple of weeks with updates, and they're working very hard to get things going again, obviously, with health as being...
Oh, there you go.
There.
Are you there? There you go.
Yep.
Okay. So you said June 18th. That's when we're going to be probably racing for. You said, are you there? There you go. Okay.
I'm here. Sorry.
So you said, okay. No, you're weird. So June 18th, right? That's possibly the next race then.
The next race would be right at the end of June. I think it's like the last couple of days of June. So we have a month and I guess a month and a half or so. But of course, with these series, like Im said, taking time, it's there's just a lot of things up in the air. So we're not really sure, but we're excited to get back to it as soon as we can.
Definitely. I'm looking forward to that, and of course, we'll have to take the precautions because we don't want to have that, this virus is spreading everywhere. So even though we're controlling it now somehow, but at the same time, there could be a second outbreak. So we have to make sure that we follow all the rules.
Right.
All right. So let's talk about the new thing that is happening everywhere. Video games. As you mentioned before, you wrote on the IMSA Ice Racing, which is something that I believe that's new for them, right?
It's new. Yes, yeah, it was new. Sort of shortly after Sebring was postponed, they did a Super Sebring event, and it was a massive hit. So they've actually started a bit of an online season series that will run until hopefully we're back on track in real time at the end of June. And it's been so popular that the grid fills up quick. I think they have a 50 car maximum, and so they sometimes. I think Mason and Michael did the last one. I did the Sebring race, and then Gabby's done a race as well. So they're trying to mix that up. But we're also doing what's a little bit more pertinent to what we're doing with Hyundai, Forza Motorsport 7
right.
with the Veloster N. So we're, Brian and BHA, we're kind of hosting weekly Forza Motorsport events on Thursdays, and there's only so many spots available. I think it's 24 total, and I think we have 18 open. And so every week we invite people to join us and just have some fun. It's all for fun. We don't want to make it too serious, but you say that I spent hours trying to make the Veloster N in Forza look like our race car, and it looked really good. I must say it's pretty. I'm happy with the net result, but a lot of things. I guess that's another thing I've learned being at home so much is how to do things I never thought I would know how to do. So we've had a lot of fun with Forza, and we're really excited about that program, and we hope that a lot of people will join us in the coming weeks as we just try to stay engaged with everybody and have some fun while we're at home, and then of course look forward to welcoming everyone back to the track when it's safe and we're able to do so.
Now, this invitation that you mentioned for the Forza 7, is it through Instagram, Twitter? How do you guys send those invitations?
It's through Instagram, so follow the Brian Herta Autosport Instagram feed. I believe it's actually on Facebook and Twitter as well. But if you follow Brian Herta Autosport, you will stay up to date on all of that. And yeah, it's so that, just a quick little blurb on that. We do a handful of races over about an hour, and the races are all short. They're 2 to 3 laps depending on the track, and it's a mix. So there's really not an opportunity to go out and practice these tracks per se. They're kind of just random. And so we all get to go out at the same time and just race. There's no qualifying. There's nothing. It's literally straight into the race just for fun. And we get out there and have a good time racing a bunch of Veloster Ns around. And it's great. We had great feedback from our first event. Mason will be streaming it on Twitch as well. So people can actually sign in and watch and just become a part of it and just have some fun with it with us. And so we're looking forward to it tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night, right? At 7, you said, right?
7, yeah, that's right.
All right. So we'll be sure to put some stories and post in Instagram and all social media so that everyone can see it as well.
Perfect.
All right. So now So you were mentioning before that you had your rig for the simulator. It was not the perfect one, but at the same time, you were saying that you're improving it now. So can you tell us a little bit those improvements you have done? And will this be the first time you're going to be driving it since you have done those updates, or?
So yeah, it's not. So I updated it back at the end of March. So I did Super Sebring. And it went super poorly. I ended up in the wall in turn 1, and I don't know. There's all these terms for things that happen online, and I think my computer just couldn't keep up, and the car was so difficult to drive, and it wasn't leading up to the race, but in the race, I think maybe I overwhelmed either the graphics card or that's my excuse. I guess if I'm going to give you an excuse, so I said, how do I become more competitive short of just practicing a lot, which it takes a lot of practice, and it is a little bit different than the real thing. So you have to learn the tricks of the trade, so to speak, on that. But I spoke to Mason and said, what do we need to do? Because he was having some of the similar issues, and so we bought the same graphics card that was the latest and greatest of graphics cards, I guess, for, that would be able to allow the system to run better. Fortunately, my computer itself, which is about 6 years old, had, when I bought it pretty stout, so I didn't have to do any major upgrades. So it was literally limited to graphics card and monitors, because I guess my 60 hertz refresh rate monitors are not sufficient, and so I needed the 144 hertz ones. So I ordered those up and got everything in, and then had to figure out how to do all the install, which actually was quite straightforward. I was pretty surprised, but nevertheless, that's all I've done. I toyed with the idea of upgrading my steering wheel, because my wheel it's a Fanatec setup, so it's a good wheel, but it's not sort of their latest and greatest fancy force feedback one, but it works, and it works well enough. And I have a pretty good set of the Club Sport pedals, which, I guess they've upgraded those as well, but they still work pretty well. So I kind of stopped myself and said, well, let's run with this for now and not go too crazy. But the more time I spend at home, the more I'm looking on the Fanatec website, thinking about making more changes.
Yeah, being at home all the time and being able to browse all the time, it's kind of
bad news.
It's not, it's not good for a while.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so now I want to talk about this, because I think I believe this is the first time they have done it. Hyundai Motorsport invited all their racing drivers from all around the world into one spot, which is their headquarters at I'm mispronouncing it, maybe Altenau in Germany. Can you tell us that experience, how it was?
It was awesome. They flew us in for a very quick trip. It was an in and out sort of trip, but they flew everybody in from all over the globe that had won a championship, and there were a lot of guys. It was a lot of people, and it was really exciting. It was such a warm welcome. The factory. The Motorsport Factory is really neat, obviously housing not only the TCR program, but the WRC program. And it's a massive effort and a lot of people. And it's very, obviously, the motorsport side is tremendously important. And it was such a great year for Hyundai and Motorsport globally. It was fun to talk with the other drivers about their experience racing in the different TCR classes globally, and it was really, really a nice sort of thank you for a great year. And we always thought, well, we need to thank you because you gave us such a great car, such an awesome car all year, and we work so closely with them, and we need to get the results. It's about winning. It's about showing the capabilities of this car, and that's what we did, and that's what they've been doing globally with the different platforms, and so it's super exciting. It was a lot of fun, and it was something we said, well, we need to be able to do this every year, because it's too much fun not to be back here and have the opportunity to do that. And of course, you're so close to the Nürburgring, which is amazing, but it was closed, so that was a bit tough. We would have gone. We were going to go regardless, but it was very nice of them, and it's just such a great family, the Hyundai family, to be a part of, and to work towards those common goals with. So it was great.
All right, so. Were you able to meet with? I mean, obviously there were so many leagues over there, the WRC and many other leagues that I don't remember all of them. But were you able to talk to any of those people and exchange thoughts about the cars? Some of them are driving the i20, which is the WRC. Obviously, you drove actually the i30 and now the Veloster N. Were you able to talk to any of those guys and exchange thoughts on the cars?
I mean, it was so quick that we really spent time talking with other TCR, other TCR winners and teams, and just getting the lay of the land of, how their years went. Obviously, they had great years, but levels of competition and different things on the car that they tried, and things that maybe we could adapt, for what we're doing, and it was kind of fun because the Veloster, obviously, mostly it's I-30N TCRs running, and we were running the Veloster for the first year, and so there was a lot of questions about, hey, what's the Veloster and TCR like? I mean, is it that much different? And so, yes, there are subtle differences, but not tremendous, because they share about 85% of the same parts. So, naturally, the differences are sort of down to a bit of body shape, and aero a little bit, but effectively they're the same car. So it was fun to talk to them, and I think as far as, and I've been in some of the reading, I think a lot of people that don't get the Veloster N road car want the Veloster N road car, and of course we don't get the I-30N. So it's one of those funny deals where everyone kind of, the Veloster's smaller, it's a little more nimble, it's a different car.
3 doors.
Yeah, exactly. But no, they, I actually haven't driven an I-30N road car. No, that's not true. Mason and I drove one around the Nürburgring in September. Yep. So we could say that between the two cars, both awesome, and to run the I-30N around the ring, where of course it's been honed.
Wow.
We were putting it through the test, in the carousels and just getting on power. Is the TC going to come on? Nope. No, it's like just so well tuned. we had an absolute riot, but it's good fun.
All right. So kind of wrapping down the questions, but let's go back to one of the followers' question. So Jordan, real deal Supino. Okay. So how are you doing with social distancing? We kind of talked about a little bit, but might as well put it out there. How are you dealing with that? How are you doing, actually?
Well, we're doing well with it. We're lucky because we're in the country, so we're used to, I guess, social distancing quite a bit, just because we don't have neighbors that are that close. We can kind of wander around our property a little bit. So we've been able to still go out and do the things we would normally do around the house. We just spend more time here instead of, we to live kind of a little bit far away. Obviously, we spent more time in the car, but I love spending time in the car, so that's not a problem, and my wife doesn't mind either. But we've been able to just explore what we have at home, which has been great. As far as going to the grocery store, we try to limit it to once every 2 weeks. It's different, obviously, keeping that couple meters of distance, hand washing, sanitizing, all of that. It's definitely a different feel, and we've just tried to kind of go with the flow on that, and just appreciate all the work that the frontline workers are doing. Without them, there's just a tremendous amount of gratitude there. It's really remarkable, and we're asked to do the easy part, which is just stay home and try to stop the spread, and so we can all move past this more quickly and get on with back to hopefully a little bit more normality. But good question. I think we've done very well with it, and I think that's probably something we're going to have to deal with for a little while. So we just embrace it, and hope that we can get back to some kind of normal in the not too distant future.
All right. And okay, so this will be the last question for the followers, and this is actually for Mason Philippe. He said, how is the slightly damp Nürburgring?
Of course he asked that question. So the slightly damp Nürburgring is exactly like they tell you when you go there, which is if it's cloudy, expect that there's probably rain somewhere around the track. and the surface is so old and worn in a lot of places. And there is some new parts, new asphalt too. There actually was a couple new sections, but we went out and it had started to drizzle. And we came back to the start, and Mason and I, it was our last night there, and we said, okay, well, do we park it or do we do one more lap and hope that maybe it's just a little drizzly here? Well, given all the information we were given, we should have known that parking the car was the safe bet, especially since they're rental cars, good rental cars, mind you, really good rental cars. But we went out and said, no, we got to go. We got to do another lap. So we probably had done 4 or 5 laps at least at that point. And we had to give it, obviously. It was like, this is the end. Let's go. And you know, when the wiper's on intermittent, that's not a good sign. Honestly, I felt like I ignored everything that was going on and just tried to drive hard. And I think Mason was the same. I know he was the same. And we were roasting around, and we got, I don't remember that. I know where it was. I don't know what the correct name of it is. It's that sort of that massive dip at the bottom of the quick S's down the hill. There's a compression that's very fast. It's because over 200 kilometers an hour is very fast. And it was pouring rain at the bottom in that compression, basically. Oh, wow. And so I got in there. I kind of saw it coming, and I turned the wipers on more, and I lifted and started to brake a bit, and there was no grip. I thought I was going to understeer straight into the barrier. Oh my God. And I look in the mirror, and I see the right side of Mason's car because he's completely sideways. And we had cameras going. We had the GoPros going, so we got to laugh about it later. But I'm pretty sure we almost ate two cars, and it would have turned an amazing trip into an expensive trip
oh my God.
quick. So when they tell you at the Nürburgring to be really careful with the weather, they mean it, and for good reason. It's about as slippery as I could ever imagine a track to be, and I've raced on a lot of slippery tracks, but the Nürburgring is very unique.
Wow, good memories then.
Yes, good memories. Yeah, you bet.
All right, so let's see what. Well, you mentioned that you're practicing on the simulator. Can you tell how many hours do you usually practice on the simulator?
I think today we did an hour, and so for me it's kind of every couple of days. Some days more than others in terms of time. I mean, but with the kids, it's sort of sneak it in while you know, our youngest is having a nap, and you know, and then there's always something kind of going on. So I try to schedule times where I can go on the sim and dedicate. So normally in the evenings, pretty good. Like around this time, I can run for maybe a little bit longer with the guys, and you know, I've got to run more. I mean, Michael's a rocket on the sim, especially iRacing, and you know, don't leave Michael any extra time because he's too fast on the sim. He's got to park it, I think. And Mason's pretty quick on the sim too, so it's the pressure's on, and I keep saying, like, I go on and I just have to ask them, you know, what have you guys changed on the setup, because I don't have time to go through all this process. And fortunately they've been really nice. I think they've been honest with me and giving me all the setup. You know, maybe they've got a couple of things in their back pocket, but I think they've been pretty forthcoming with it. So you know, we'll see tomorrow when we have to race. Tomorrow night we'll see who's got it. But we did a little practice at Laguna today, just trying to dial the car in a little bit and just have some fun. And we all got off and went, wow, that's a riot. We could spend hours and hours doing it. So, yeah, try to get at least an hour a day or every few days at least, if not more.
All right, that's good. Yeah, we gotta beat that team. What do they call themselves? Avocado? Team Avocado.
Team Avocado, yes. So and I guess also. They also have some new merch, so I'll mention that if you haven't seen. So, yeah, if you're looking for some merch with some Veloster and sort of TCR livery on there, check out those guys, their site. I think they've got it posted on their Instagram. You can check it out. So kind of cool on them to work through that.
Yeah, actually, that you mentioned, yeah, it's pretty cool. They have a Veloster on the back, and I believe they have their number 98 on the front.
Yeah.
And I was talking to Mason about it, and if anybody who wants to purchase that T-shirt, they can go to their, is it Michael Lewis Racing? I think his.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then
on either their Instagram or, I mean, I think Mason has it posted everywhere. I'm not sure about Michael, but I know Michael's got it on his Instagram and Mason as well. So they've got the link there, and you can check out the designs, and it's pretty cool. Yeah, so good fun while we wait to get back to the track.
All right. It seems like it's telling me that we only have 20 seconds. So I guess we're just going to keep it short here. Thank you very much, Mark, for being with us. We've known each other since 2013. It's been good having you as a friend, and hopefully we can do this again in another time.
Absolutely. Yeah, we should do, maybe we should try to do one from the track when we get back there. We'll get all the guys